Hello, guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley, and my co-host today is Amy. How's it going, Amy? You right?
Morning, Alex. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. We were supposed to do this interview in person today, but I had to have a PCR test because my wife got COVID. So it's a really odd situation where they're like, oh, okay, so you got this deadly virus in your house, but if your wife gets it, you can still go out and do your thing. It's really weird. I feel so guilty just going out and doing stuff, but I'm negative, so I've got things to do, but I've only just found out today. So today we're speaking to me and Amy were just talking before we hit record that we're really excited to be speaking to. That's Sarah Isaac, author, English teacher, and writing tutor.
Yeah, children's author. Hi, morning.
How are you? You good?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes. Are you? I'm really pleased to be here.
Yeah, me too. I wish we were going to come to see you. I wish we could have.
That's all right. I have to eat all the biscuits now that I got for you.
You're not the only person as well. This is becoming a thing now. People give me biscuits. Mike Perkins was meant to come around my house this week. He's the illustrator for Swamp Thing, and I had to cancel on him too. You know, I've got to protect people. I've got to protect the people. And he brought me Shrewsbury Biscuits as well. I was like, what? So, damn you, COVID. Damn you. Sarah, so you're in Bridgnorth, right?
I am, yes. I've been living here for about, just over 20 years now. So I think I like the place, yeah. No, it's a lovely place to live. Great place to live. So, I live here with my son. And I love it. It's brilliant.
Where do you hail from originally?
Oh, you might be able to tell the twings in my my accent. I am actually from Birmingham originally, so I sort of was brought up and did all my schooling and so on. Just until my early 20s, and then moved a variety of places and ended up here in Shropshire. So good place to end up.
It's one of those things, isn't it? You get Shropshire and you're kind of like, no, I'm all right. I'm good here. That's it.
It's really.
Now, when I was reading about you, because obviously you got in touch, and I was kind of like, oh my god, I love. There's nothing better than to step inside the head of an author or an artist or something. You know, I love that so much. And then I started reading about you, and I was just, I recognized Derek the Alien. I don't know why I recognized it, but I did. I guess it's because I got a kid.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I've read one of your. You know what I mean? I just recognized it instantly. And where does this come from? Where does Derek come from?
Do you know what? I don't know. I was sitting there one day. I mean, I've always written. I've always enjoyed writing, right from a very early age. I guess it's the same with anybody who enjoys doing something, whether you're sporty or, enjoy cooking or what have you. But I enjoy writing. So I've always written. And like many writers, we've probably got half a story and stuffed in various drawers, over the years. But one day I decided, I thought, I'm going to write a children's book. I don't know. I'd written bits and pieces before, but and all of a sudden, Derek kind of came into my head, and I always write in rhyme. So I thought, what do you rhyme with, Derek? What So I made sure that maybe Derek wasn't on the end of the line that I had to rhyme with. So so Derek the Alien came, little alien who hadn't got a home, and eventually finds the orange jelly planet, which is great when I go around to schools because we talk about what planet would you live on if you could sort of have any kind of planet. And some of the children will say things like, I want a chocolate planet, or one did say they wanted one made of Haribo sweets, and so we kind of get the imagination of the child going a bit really with this, and then after that was my my second book about Derek, which is Derek and the sort of the raspberry milkshake sky. So where there's an accident that happens in space, and so it starts to rain pink raspberry milkshake, which is great, really, because you're going to go out there with your cups and saucers and your bottles and collect it.
I love that. Is it raining men? No. Grab a cup. I'll show you what it's raining.
Better, obviously. So
is incredible. I can't stop smiling about how did it just happen? Did you just start writing and all of a sudden the orange jelly planet appeared, or do you have to plan your stories, or does it just happen?
It sounds ridiculous. It sounds, I want to say, yes, I planned it for weeks. And then, I went and researched and I did this and I did. Do you know what? I think when you've got a bit of a crazy brain like mine, or a bit of a, or maybe a creative imagination, I should say, really, things do come to you. I could be sitting here and looking at something and think, what happens if that, that was magic, or that was, that spoke to me, or that maybe that's, as a child, perhaps I was told I was daydreaming, but as an adult, I've got a creative mind and I'm a children's author. So, it does, things come to you. And when I do creative writing workshops, and when I go around schools, it's fantastic when you go around schools, because, there's the children, their imaginations are fantastic. And it's lovely to hear some of the ideas they come up with as well. So for their own stories too. So, yeah.
You just said something really interesting. And I'm so glad you go around the schools and get children enthusiastic, because you said, as a child, you'd have been classed as just a daydreamer, I think you said. But as an adult, I can now say I'm a creative writer. And isn't that a shame that as a child, we couldn't say, wow, you're going to be a creative writer, but just a daydreamer, It's...
Yeah, that's right. That's true. And I think also there's there's a point as well where a lot of parents and teachers will say this, that a child will grow up and then suddenly a lot of children, dare I say, mainly boys, and I shouldn't really say that, but it is more likely to be boys, start to drift away from reading and they're not interested. So, and if anybody's listening now, they probably know of children who, they used to read loads when they were a child, bedtime stories, and suddenly there's this step back, not as interested, and very reluctant. So I did write a third, in fact, I have it behind me. Where's it gone? It's this side. It's a bucket full of bogeys. That's what I called it, a bucket full of bogeys. And I wrote it for children who hate reading and hate poetry, because they're just literally a bunch of poems that are all about bogeys and snot and, going to the loo and all sorts of weird and wonderful things, toilet humour, really, to hopefully get them back into reading as they used to be. So, yeah.
We in our household, Alex and I were talking about how much we love reading to our children. It's just, we went through a list of all our favourites. But then, my son is 12. And for the last couple of years, it's a struggle to try and find books for boys of that age, isn't it? I mean, he's not on to Ranulph Fiennes and Steve Backshall, so that's cool. He's got an interest. But there's a gap, definitely, isn't there?
Absolutely. And, I enjoyed, he's 14 now, my son, but I enjoyed reading to him as well, to bedtime stories. And because I'm a bit dramatic, sort of my background is acting and drama. Of course, you want to put on the, you want to put on the accents and the voices.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. We were talking about Frog on the Log. I was probably sort of teetering on being really racist with that, because I was like, Frog on the Log. I'd really go to. I love that book. It's one of my favorites.
I had a great voice for Kipper. Sort of in the Kipper book. So it's just to get everything excited. Make it more interesting and exciting for them.
Kipper. I think you got to say like Ray Winston. I'm Kipper.
We love books, and it brings us to our childhood again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does, definitely.
Yeah. And your claim to fame is that Kate and William really enjoyed Orange Jelly Planet, right?
They did. I know. I had
shock to you.
It was. Yeah, it was quite strange, because it was my birthday. It was in June. And, I had a few cards come through the post, and along with it, this other letter, and it got Kensington Palace on the back. And I thought, well, they don't know my birthday. What's that?
I'm not 100 yet.
I opened it up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe something was cross wires. But no, it was really lovely to get that. And it just really lovely. So your book tends to hopefully spread a bit of joy to everywhere, really. That's your plan.
When it comes to looking for new ideas, because you hold creative writing courses, when you're really trying to find an idea, it becomes difficult, right? Is there something in you where you got to sort of relax a little bit and not think about these things and not pressure yourself to come up with the new great idea and all of a sudden, bing, light bulb, is that true?
I think you do have to be in a frame of mind. You can't, some writers can do it. They go, right, today I'm going to write 2 hours of work and I'm going to sit here with a piece of paper and here's my pen and that's it. I can't do it on demand like that. I might be, I don't know, emptying the dishwasher and then all of a sudden this idea will come into my head and I go, right, I've got to stop that. I've got to just get it down on a piece of paper quickly. It might be the other day I was putting on a pair of shoes and an idea had come to me. I won't say what it is, but an idea came to me and I thought, I've got to write a few things down because I'm going to I need that to be a book. So I sort of collect. So you collect different ideas. And the people in my writing course at the moment, we have a small writing group. There's 6 of them over a 6-week period. And wow, their imaginations, and they come from all different kinds of backgrounds. Some are brilliant writers, but they're writing in certain ways for work, like bid writing, for example, not creative writing, bid writing. So, they are really enjoying having learning a different way of writing and being more creative. So yeah, you do need to have to sort of be in a sort of a frame of mind, and I think relaxed and more at ease and less stressed. Yeah. Definitely.
I feel like it depends what mood you're in. And whether you've had enough rest and stuff, because just before we came on here, I was just recording a few liners because I've got a radio show. And I was just I like to keep things fresh. So I just hit record and I was just like, what are you still doing here? The show ended two songs ago. You want to grab a mop and help me? Little things like that. And it just comes to you. It really does. But that's because I'm in the right state of mind. I'm feeling good today. Whereas yesterday, when I was feeling all tired, probably got COVID. Creative block,
Yeah. Absolutely. I think when you're sort of creative or artistic, you do have to be. I guess it's the same if you're an Olympic athlete as well. You have to be in a sort of a right state of mind, I guess.
Yeah. What about you, Amy? When are you most likely to break out a masterpiece or whatever it is you're doing? What kind of frame of mind do you need to be in?
I think it just does arrive when I'm least expecting it. Emptying the dishwasher, emptying the washing machine, or on the school run. But I do have to say, I just think the idea of a creative writing retreat is amazing. We all feel that we've got a book inside us, don't we? And it's been an itch I've been wanting to scratch for years. But it's almost being allowed to, isn't it? Or allowing yourself to realize that you can just start writing words and you don't have to do it in the style of anyone else, because I think that can be quite hard as well, can't it? It's like, well, what sort of style do I want to be like? And actually just allowing yourself at a retreat or in one of your classes to just be you and write. I find it really interesting. This is why I'm so excited about speaking to you today. It's a self-acceptance. It's wonderful, Sarah. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's being yourself, isn't it? Allowing to be yourself. And like you said, if you do try and think to yourself, I've got to copy how that person's style is, and it can be very restrictive. So you can be inspired by other writers. That's one thing. But as you get inspired with music and so on. But certainly, it's a chance of being yourself. I did recently have a look around on different retreats that were out there for people, thinking, well, what do people do? Are there writing retreats? What's out there? And I was quite surprised how many retreats were online. And I thought, well, surely the word retreat means retreat, to leave and to go and to be somewhere else. So I thought, that might work for people. I'm not knocking those because they, if they work for people, that's fantastic. But I don't think for me, if I wanted to go into a retreat, I wouldn't want to be around my home surroundings with the phone going and, somebody knocking the door and Amazon dropping off a parcel and, and I'm trying to sort of put something down. It's all about going away, having the time for yourself, relaxing and being at one and being with like-minded people. and being allowed to do that, and coming out with a book, or at least half a book, or a plan for a book, something. And I think I found, certainly over the time where we've had the pandemic and lockdowns and all of the things that everybody's been through, I found that, and I don't know what it is, I don't know whether Alex can sort of shed some light on this, but it seems to be a lot of women that want to do the writing courses. It seems to be a lot of women who want to go on the retreats.
You know the answer, though, don't you? You know the answer, because guys know the answer, don't they? You know what I mean? I think that's a genuine thing. People are so. I speak to a lot of young guys, right? Genuinely, it's one of my jobs, and a lot of young guys are scared to ask for opinions and scared to ask for help because they feel like they've got to do it by themselves. And it's one of those things, and I totally agree with you about taking yourself away from your reality, your home comforts. Because one of my favorite places in the world is Rockfield Studios in Wales. That's where like Bohemian Rhapsody was recorded, and Oasis did record, and Stone Roses and all stuff. It's this farm in the middle of nowhere in Wales. Here's your instruments. Here's a recording studio. Off you go. Right, and they would stay there for weeks on end until they got it right. And you taking yourself away, you take a kid away from an Xbox, away from all those modern day luxuries, and give them a task to do. They'll do it. They'll go out there and do it. Because there's no distractions. I feel like we need to definitely encourage, when it comes to younger in life with kids, encourage them to ask for opinions and ask for help.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yes, because they don't like asking, or they don't feel they should, or and certainly. But I think with the retreat that we decided to put on, I got together with a fantastic lady called Lynn Robinson, who is she's a Reiki specialist. She writes books. Oh my goodness, she's amazing. If you look on her website, the amount of things that she does. But she's a great writer, and as I say, we knew each other because we were at a literary lunch at some point about, 3 years ago. We've kept in touch. And then one day we were talking. She does retreats. She does wellness retreats, spiritual wellness retreats, which are, they get booked up really quickly. And she's got them in January and February of next year. Those are all booked. And suddenly we got talking on Zoom, and we started to talk about having a writer's retreat. So ours is going to be, we've decided to do a writer's retreat, and ours is going to be in May of next year. But we didn't want it at, a little hotel sort of in the middle of the town. And we find that some retreats, they don't offer food and all of this. So we put a package together for people who are interested in going away from home from Friday to Sunday. So it's not it's just a long weekend where they can totally focus on themselves. They can have home cooked food. Lynn cooks. Thank God Lynn cooks. She's amazing. But she makes sure everything is organically homemade, fresh food for everybody for the whole weekend. There are therapists on hand for everything from massage to meditation, anything you like, holistic treatments. I'm going to be doing the writers' workshops throughout. And you know what? We're going to have an absolutely fantastic time. But and at the end of it, we are doing, for those people who are going, there is going to be a surprise happening during the weekend. I can't say too much about that now, but certainly it's not a little surprise. We're not giving people, a new pen or anything like that. It's a big surprise. So we're actually doing this, and we're doing it on the edge of the Peak District, the national park there. So it's going to be a beautiful place. So when you're in the hot tub outside thinking about your book, what you're going to write next, you've got all that view, you've got like-minded people, and you've got support and guidance as well. So yeah, I'm dying to go.
I might not get much writing done, but I'd still like to come.
No.
Sorry, Amy.
No, I'm definitely sold. I think I'm going to email you at the end of this interview, if that's okay. If there are spaces, are there spaces left if people want to join?
Yeah, because the first couple of months, the wellness ones are all taken up now. But we're now booking just a deposit for the May retreat. We're not doing it whereby there are going to be 20 odd people either. We're doing it whereby there's going to be under 10 people, so that people are focused upon. You're not in a massive room with humongous amount of people, even though that would be probably quite nice. We want to focus on the person rather than just numbers. So yes, absolutely, you can email us, absolutely no problem at all. But it's a time for rejuvenating and learning new skills and just getting recharging your batteries, I think.
Yeah.
What do you guys? I mean, what do you do to sort of keep fresh with what's going to go on inside the the heads of young kids? Because you can write something that doesn't compute to a 6-year-old. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to kind of get yourself in their zone, I guess. How do you do that?
I think it's a case of we know kind of what the books are out there at the moment. I'd like to know what's sort of selling, what sort of what the kids are reading. And when I used to work, I don't work in as many schools. Well, I don't work in schools now, but I was always working in schools, and so I would always be up on that. So I do check constantly. What's on the shelves of Waterstones. But my books, I think if I have an idea. And I kind of find that my imagination runs away with that, I've got to stop and think, right, who is actually going to read this? Who is this for? Is it for a 3-year-old or is it going to be for a 12-year-old? And I've got to obviously make sure that, as we know, if we do, let's say we do a bedtime story with a child, we know that the book is only going to be having about 30 pages in it and just a few words on each page. Whereas if you write a book with, 7,000 words in every night, your 3-year-old is going to get a bit bored. So I just work out, this idea, where is it going to, how is it going to be written, is it going to be an elongated story, is it going to be for an older child? So there's lots and lots of considerations, and it works out. So yeah, you take advice as well. So
yeah. And taking advice, I guess, being on a retreat with other writers, but you can speak to and confide with, it's a healthy thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some people might come with, half a story written and go, well, I don't know what to do with this. I've got stuck. Where do I go next? Others may go, I just don't know what the first words are going to be. Anything is possible. I always say to people that, we got 26 letters in the alphabet, and the way that all of those letters are put together to make words, to make sentences, to create books that help us, that can make us very emotional, can make us cry, can make us laugh. And it's pretty clever, really. There's only 26 letters. So, we find ways of getting that, that inspiration. And certainly, the retreat will do that. Absolutely. But, we're not, the other thing is that we're not sort of handing people a piece of paper where here's your timetable, 9 o'clock, you're going to be there, and 2:30, you're going to be having a massage. And there are lots and lots of things laid out for people to join. And then it's not a hotel, it's a very big house, the most beautiful house with a spa outside, just further across on the grounds. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's 5-star. And so people might want to go off and just be on their own, just reflecting, just writing. Somebody else might decide that it's time for a massage and they can do that. Others might take a walk. Others might join, the next writing workshop that we do, which will be sort of spaced out all over the weekend. So there's lots of options, so it'll be customized to that person. So, yeah.
Do you have an event, business, or promotion that needs advertising? Well, the Shrewsbury Biscuit is here for you. With listeners local, nationwide, even worldwide, we have the perfect place to get the word out. And the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast is a registered CIC, so you'd be helping us while we help you. Drop us a line at shrewsburybiscuitpodcast@gmail.com and speak to us today. The Shrewsbury Biscuit Podcast, the voice of Shrewsbury. I noticed that you got your stuff is illustrated.
It sounds wonderful, Sarah, and I like the fact.
No, go on, Amy. It's a bit of a lag. It's fine. Carry on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the fact that you want to keep it small just makes it less of a conference feel. We're not going there with our notebooks. Well, we are going with notebooks, and we're going to be lectured. It just sounds so incredibly intimate, and I think you might have I think you have got a very magic recipe there for beautiful. And I think I know why it may be more women taking you up on it, is just because I think a lot of women soul searched during the lockdowns, and I think that we found things in our soul that maybe we've realized are super important and super amazing. And writing retreats or retreats of any kind have become very magical for women now. It's what we needed, that missing part. Yeah, it sounds lovely.
Yeah, I think you're right, Amy, and we found that you want to sort of learn new skills and just like, I think it's been a time, certainly for me, I think it's been a whole time of reflection, all of this pandemic issue, what have you. So yeah,
I think it sounds fantastic. Creators being around creators can only create creation, right?
Can you have that time, Alex, please? I think that sounds great.
Yeah, you can write that. You can have that one if you like. See, chilling out in the moment, and I'll come out with genius lines like that. What I was about to mention was how do you find the right illustrator to draw your idea? Like, you got Lisa Williams that does your illustration for Derek. How do you find that right person?
Oh, I have to say, I was so lucky. I was actually recommended her by a company, a fantastic company. But Lisa is freelance, and she's absolutely, open to, doing. She does lots of different types of work. But somebody said, I think Lisa would be really good for you, because they'd seen this sort of scribbled out Derek the Alien sort of story. So and that was it. She sent me some ideas. She put about 12 different ideas, because in my head, what does Derek look like? I can actually see him sort of behind me.
Yeah, just behind you. Yeah. All right, Derek.
Yeah, he's fine. I've got some sort of space slugs knocking about somewhere as well. But yeah, I mean, I was extremely lucky, and I do know other authors who've struggled to find somebody, where they've got something in their head and they think they really want to put something together. And they just can't find the right sort of style. There are a lot of people out there illustrating, and it's just matching something up, making it right, making the book look right. So I have to say, I was really, really lucky on that score, and I've had Lisa do my illustrations for the last 3 books. So yeah,
you see there, and that's the book there, Derek the Alien, for you guys on YouTube. If not, make sure you go to the website, check that out. And is this the retreat? Is this where you guys are going to be going?
Do you know what? That's just the spa area, but that is part of the retreat. Yeah, absolutely.
There, look, Amy.
Gorgeous. Amy, I think I can imagine you just sort of, sitting there with a glass of something in your hand. These are people that have been shown at the moment that have been on Lynn's wellness retreats, and they book time and time again. They really do. So it's that's why there's only so many places, just under 10, in a beautiful house, beautiful surroundings. So we're looking for small numbers of people, so it's focused for them.
For anybody that is listening and would love to do it, it doesn't matter if you're going on your own, does it? I mean, it's
no, not at all. I think probably what has happened in the past as well is if when you have gone on your own and then you've met up with somebody who you've probably got on with very well, you don't have to be sort of in there, sort of in their way all the time. You can go and take yourself off and do different things. But then when you find that somebody has booked again for another retreat, perhaps a few months later, then you're more likely to book again, because you think, well, I know I'm familiar with those people. But there are couples that do go. Certainly couples do go to the retreat. So, if there is a couple that want to do that, even though you might be doing separate things when you get there, it's that's possible. Yeah. But on your own's fine.
It does sound good. I mean, I have, it just sounds exciting. It's like going to camp when I was a kid. Used to sent away for 2 weeks. Look at the shenanigans we're up to. It's good that you guys are right now. Eyes down, right. You're there with a whip. You're like, no. Let's just have a glass of wine in the hot tub. Let's do that instead. Cool.
Sounds great.
As a writer of children's books, sorry, Amy. Amy's coming to us all the way from California today.
Yeah, I think I am. No, Alex, you go ahead, my darling.
Oh no, I'm a gentleman.
I wanted to ask about how much fun Bucket of Bogeys was to write. It just is brilliant. And the fact that you're trying to make fun for boys that hate poetry, kids that hate poetry, is brilliant.
Yeah, of course I sat there and I thought I've got to write something for kids that really hate reading, because I'd been in classrooms and I'd come across 12 and 13-year-olds, even 14-year-olds, and they'd said, well, we don't like I don't like reading. What do you mean you don't like reading? I said, perhaps so my answer to that normally is, maybe you just haven't found the right book yet. It might be that you're just having the ones at school and you haven't tried other things and reading isn't all about, pulling War and Peace off the shelf. It's all about, reading a newspaper, just even 2 articles, reading a little bit online maybe, but reading, just short stories, magazines, all sorts of wider range is better. But I did sit there thinking there's got to be something, that I can sort of, like you say, bridge the gap. And I sat there and I thought, it's got to be about things that kids, in particular boys, I shouldn't say in particular boys, but more likely boys, are going to be looking at. Let's do things about poo and farting. Can I say that?
Yeah,
so all about that, things about going on holiday. And I remember when I was on holiday as a child, we'd sort of travel down to Cornwall or Devon or somewhere around there, and myself and my brother would be in the back of the car. And of course, my brother suffers more with car sickness than I do, but you can imagine car sickness halfway down, in the mess and the so it's sort of, that I did end up sort of being inspired by that to write one of the stories. Holiday Nightmare, I called that one. But there's also things like, a child when they go shopping and they see a teacher that is shopping as well. I mean,
I saw on YouTube.
Have you seen a teacher actually sort of, being outside of school? They actually live outside of school. So I did a story about Teacher Stew, where the child followed the teacher outside and realised that the teacher was putting all this stuff in the, in the boot, but there was a bit of a lump in the back of the boot, and they thought, what's under the lump? She must have kidnapped a child and put them in, must have been somebody for detention. Or so there's lots of stuff, where imagination has sort of run away with me probably. But so it was interesting. But I had 23 poems are in there, 23 rhyming poems that I had to sort of trail back to my childhood, and think what children would like to hear.
Stunning. I feel like when you're trying to speak to someone and trying to sort of connect with them, sometimes it's about finding the one thing you've got in common, right? So you try a few things. I saw a sketch recently about I think it was Family Guy. It was guys whose girlfriends are friends, and they sit in the same room. They're like, football, no. Music, no. Movies, no. As soon as you find that one thing in common, you can sort of gel with someone. And when it comes to trying to create, sort of encourage creativity in young people, it's about finding that little niche that you can probably get into. Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, it is. And, it's a bit like a lot of teachers. I can't speak for every teacher, but I know that there are teachers out there that don't like, but find it a little bit of a struggle when they have to teach poetry, especially to primary. Sometimes that can be a little bit, how are we going to tackle this? And so I do workshops for poetry as well. In fact, I one of the pictures on my website of me dressed up in an astronaut's outfit, and I think the kids all think I'm completely nuts, and yeah, I am, and that's the way I like it. But it's just getting the kids interested. And then we do poetry, but I say, poetry doesn't have to rhyme. Poetry can be nonsense poetry. So we kind of get them set up with making their own poems, complete nonsense, sort of cows with roller skates on, and all sorts of things like that, just to sort of make it engaging and interesting. And it's amazing what sort of things they do right in the end. So so it's good fun.
The way I got around it with Timmy was he likes a YouTube channel called FGTV, and the guy's brilliant. To be fair, he raps and he plays video games and stuff, and he's got his songs on YouTube. So when I get in the car, he'd be like, "Can I listen to FGTV? We'll put it on." So I'll explain to him that rapping is poetry. He's like, "Oh, okay, light bulb."
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's rap is RIP, rhyming poetry. That's it. Mm. And I go, yeah, right. No, really, it's just as simple as that. So look at me, honest. So yeah, it's
bold moment. Rap actually stands for rhyme and poetry.
Yeah, or rhythm and poetry. One of the others. I read that somewhere. And I mean, somebody might come back to you and go, she's wrong. But I read it somewhere, and I thought I was quite stunned. I didn't know that myself. And so, yeah.
Any complaints about that, send to sarahisaacsauthor.co.uk.
Yeah, let me know. Put me right. But that's honestly, I read that somewhere and I was quite surprised.
Carrying that for the rest of my life. So, yeah, I don't care if you're wrong. I think it sounds perfect.
We've made that fit now.
Yes.
As a children's author, though, because you write children's books, do you feel like you are? I'm not going to. What's the best way to put this? Do you feel like you can't venture outside of children's literature? Is there like an adult's book inside you that you feel you might be able to write one day, or are you stuck now writing children's literature?
Yeah, no, it's odd because one of the really interesting genres that I like writing or reading has always been horror, gothic horror. Always, that's always been something I've really been, or the supernatural, anything related to that. So here I am writing about Derek. I think, well, how did that happen? That was really strange. So it was obviously all meant to be at that time. And I have to say, it's opened some doors that I've really been, I've had an amazing time meeting different people, and I love going into schools, and, all of that has been fantastic. But about 3 years ago, a lot of, I collaborated with a group of authors, and we put together a book of short stories and prose. It was called Poetry and Prose. And it's an amazing book. I ended up having, I think there was two of my stories published. So they were, if you like, grown-up stories, not kids' stories. And I really enjoyed writing those. And I mentioned earlier about I was putting some shoes on and I got an idea for a story. That actually would be for, if you like, I say a grown-up story. I don't mean some kind of dodgy story. It wouldn't be for children, and it would be, for adults to read. So I have got something in my head for that, but so that wouldn't be writing in rhyme. That would be just a story. So yeah, I will venture into that. I think maybe I'll work because I've done picture books and I've done for years, sort of around the ages of 10, 11. So maybe I'll do young adults next. Maybe I'm just working my way up the ladder. So
yeah,
amazing.
When it comes to Derek the Alien, are we going to see more of Derek?
I have got my head in, like I said, most writers, they've always got little bits of paper and notes and stuff around them where they're jotting things down. I have got a story for Derek. I've still got, I know I know generally what it's going to be linked to, but I've got to get the story right, and I've got to work out what's happening in the end. So that's sort of on the back burner. I keep sort of delving into that and playing around with that, and then going off and doing something else, and then coming back to it. So that tends to be how it works. So yeah, that would be great. And I've also got a story that I'm trying to put together, and it involves Bridgnorth as a town. So look at that, no pressure. I've said that out loud now, haven't I? I shouldn't have said that out loud. It's going to go, really? So there's a few things in the pipeline that I've got, that I've been writing about. So, you have to have about 3 or 4 things on the go. You can't just do one thing.
I'm in awe, though, because that's just phenomenal that you're always constantly working on something. It's definitely a quality I feel like is very attractive in someone when it comes to conversation, especially for a podcaster, because there's always something to talk about. It's great. I love it. Amy, have you got any questions? We're getting close to wrapping this up. Have you got anything that's burning?
Yeah. No, do you know, I think, because I was just bubbling with excitement about talking to Sarah, and I could talk all day, but it wouldn't be of any relevance to the podcast. It would just be me having a conversation. So I think probably, I'll definitely be emailing Sarah later, and it'd be great to talk more about the retreats, a lot more.
Thank you with that. No, that's great. I was going to say, I don't know whether you want me to tell you which, if anybody's interested, if I can give you the web page to sort of go on.
Yeah, please do.
To your website, I don't know, but basically the probably the most, if you can go onto Lynn's website, which will take you through to giving you more information, or you can go onto my Facebook page and message me there. That's absolutely no problem. But to go directly, as Lynn has got all her sides set up, it's Lynn, Lynn, Lynn hyphen Robinson hyphen spiritual hyphen hub.co.uk.
Yeah.
That's quite a long email. Quite a long link, I should say.
If you find it, congratulations. You definitely want to go to the retreat. So if you find that, we'll put it. If you send us a link to it, I've got a link anyway. You sent it on the email. I'll put it on. I'll put it on the Biscuit Facebook page.
That'd be lovely. That'd be fantastic. So, and it'd be nice to have a new bunch of really budding authors. And I will say that this is for not anybody that's been writing for years. It doesn't have to be. It can be somebody that thinks, you know what, I just fancy learning something new. So it doesn't matter whether you're a novice or experienced. You're going to learn something from this retreat. Definitely. It's great.
Amazing.
I think you're fantastic, Sarah, and thank you so much for reaching out, because it's genuinely, it's been a great experience speaking to you. And you're welcome back on the Biscuit anytime, and we'll do it in person next time.
Thank you, and it's been great to be on it, and also to meet you both. So it's been fantastic. Thank you, really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate it too, guys. Before we get out of here, I want to tell you about our website too, which is the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast.co.uk, and that's made for us by our friends at Web Orchard. If you need a website, make sure you check them out. They do make amazing websites that look cool, if not cooler than ours. I'm learning how to edit my own website now, because before I'd be like, yeah, I could do a video on this page here, and I need this over here, and they would do it for me. But I realized it's actually quite simple to just go and do it myself. So I've learned how to play around with the website. So there'll be lots of changes coming to that soon. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. Amy,
thank you.
You up to much soon? Have you got any plans? What's going on with you?
What, today?
In general, are you got anything exciting?
I'm actually on a retreat tomorrow with Coaching Club. Yeah, the group of ladies who have helped to fix me and put me back together and make me whole again. As a group of ladies, I can't remember how many, 20-ish, I think, maybe more. And that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, Nice. Well, next weekend, this will probably go out after the fact, but next weekend, I'm so happy to say I'll be at Drawn, which is Drawn Illustrators Fair, which has been put together by Cherie, Gerard, and Tat FB. Lots of local illustrators, all up in Shrewsbury Museum, all upstairs, selling their wares and their art to artists. And we're putting together. The competition probably will have ended by the time we put this out, but we're getting all the artists to put like an item in a basket. So like, and then we're doing a like and share thing on Instagram. So somebody's going to win a basket full of local artistry stuff that's probably going to be worth hundreds. So
that's really fun.
Yeah. So yeah. Right. Okay. Let's get out of here. Sarah, thank you very much. Amy, you're an absolute star. We're going to go for a coffee after this, right?
We are.
Yeah, we're gonna go house coffee in Colham because that's one of our favorite places. Right.
Yeah.
It's been the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Peace out, guys.
Bye.